Yeah, hello. So, good morning, everybody. So, we had some technical faults. Can you all hear me now? Can you hear me now? Just shoot me a message if you can hear me. Okay, that's good. So, you can all hear me. So, there is a slight change in the schedule. Today, we'll be continuing with modern India. So, you'll be having your economics from next week. Okay, because the other day we were only able to complete half of what I wanted to complete. Today, we shall strive to complete all of it. Okay, let us see how it goes according to the time. If not, we'll catch up later also. It's not an issue. We can extend the number of classes or whatever if we have to complete. But we've done it. We've designed the course in such a way where we have more than enough time to spend on each topic so that your basics are strong enough. Okay, so that we can move on to more important topics. We can move on to when how do I put it? When once we get a bit more comfortable and grasp the syllabus, and we have a certain proclivity for what UPSC is, then we'll go into things in a much more detailed and intense way. At those points in time, the lectures won't be so easy. It will be very hard hitting. It will be full 3 to 4 hours, and it will be full packed. It will be really jam packed. Right now, it's not that way. Okay, for instance, last class we dealt with the Portuguese and European history for about 1.5 hours. Correct. So once we pick up speed, it will be almost like packing in multiple, like Portuguese, Dutch, French, English, along with the wars and everything in one lecture itself. Because by that time your basics should have been ready. You should know some of the very basic facts. Okay. So, shall we start with a mild recap? So, we have the European history, we have 1453, right? What did they do? The Ottoman Turks occupied Constantinople, therefore bringing down the size of the what empire? Byzantine Empire. Who occupies Egypt? The Persians. Okay. So, what are the three major paths that we spoke about? I think it's somewhere here. This one, Uttar Path, Middle Path, and Dakshin Path. Okay. And then we have the sea route. Do you guys remember what was the name of the treaty? Treaty of Tordesillas. I hope you revised. Where this way it would be for the Spanish, and this way exploration would be reserved for the Portuguese. So Bartholomew Diaz comes first, right? He comes to Cape of Good Hope, and then Vasco da Gama lands in Calicut, right? And we know about Christopher Columbus. He went towards the Americas. Okay. So what are the other things? Yeah, what is the name of the Hindu ruler in Kerala who welcomed Vasco da Gama? The Zamorin. Yeah? Do you? I hope you remember all of that. Then advantages of the sea routes. They could bypass the other routes. They didn't need to pay tax to the Arabs. Yeah? And the Portuguese hegemony was eventually established in India. Okay. And what were the three major choke points which are even important for today's international relations? Gulf of Aden, Strait of Hormuz, and the Malacca Straits. Where is the Malacca Strait? And where is Strait of Hormuz? Where is the Strait of Hormuz, and Malacca Strait? Malacca Strait enga irukku? Very good. Malacca Strait is in Indonesia. Oh yeah, between Indonesia and Malaysia. But I mean, the real answer is Indonesia. Okay. And yes, Hormuz is in the Gulf of Persia. Persiaங்கிறது இன்னைக்கு என்ன country அது? You cannot write Persia. Persia in today's country, what is it? Yeah, yeah, Persian Gulf is right, but it's what country? Is my question. Iran. Okay. Yeah, yeah, good. Very good. Okay. So, and then we have the three major governors. We saw Almeida, Albuquerque, and we also saw Nino de Canha. The three of them, right? Adala Almeida was the first. Albuquerque was the ultimate consolidator. He got Goa from the Sultan of Bijapur, which is important. And Nino de Canha shifted the capital from Cochin to Goa, and he got Salsette in Bassein. Okay. Blue water policy is associated with Almeida. It's something you should know. Okay. So we saw that map and we saw why the failure of the Portuguese. Right. Ultimately, it ended in India with the Battle of Swali. Right. The Battle of Swali. Where they were defeated by who? The English. All right. Fine. Now we will move on to the Dutch. Okay. Dutch பத்தி நம்ம அவ்வளவு படிக்க வேண்டியதில்லை. The three important powers வந்து பார்த்தோம்னா Portuguese, because they were the first, obviously. English and French. Okay, these are the three major that we have to read. Dutch is வந்து கொஞ்சம் சைடுல பார்க்குற மாதிரி தான் இருக்கும். We don't need to look at it in that much detail. It is not important. Okay. So they came to India in 1602 AD. So this was a what? Same time around the English. The English come around 1600s. They established factory in 1615 with Thomas Roe. அது நம்ம பார்ப்போம். அப்போ போர்ச்சுகீஸ் எப்போ வந்தாங்க? 1498. Right? So nearly 100 years. Portuguese were the sole foreign power in India. Seriya? So the Dutch were actually interested more in Indonesia. Okay. See, all these European powers were interested in Indonesia rather than India. It was partially, yes, India, but they were more interested in Indonesia. Why? Why were they interested in Indonesia? Why were they interested in India? Indonesia because of the spices. India because of the wealth. Yeah, good. Spices, good. Okay. So they were interested in Indonesia and they kick out the English basically from Indonesia. And that battle is called the Battle of Amboina. Okay. It is called the Battle of Amboina, where the Dutch defeated the English in Indonesia. Okay. Battle of Bidara in Bengal. That was the English defeating the Dutch. Okay. To become the hegemon in India. So these two battles are important. UPSC பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் the political history is not important. Okay. Who succeeded who was whose father, who fought who, and the மாதிரி questions கேட்க மாட்டாங்க. If you take and look at the prelims itself. So you don't need to waste time on that kind of thing. Okay. You only need to know the general framework, the story, and the analytical factors. Okay. So look at this map. We have the Dutch and we have the Portuguese. So Portuguese have Goa and they also had Macau. Okay. The Dutch had where? The Dutch had Colombo, they had Cochin, right? Which they took over from the Portuguese. Cochin was taken over from the Portuguese by the Dutch. Okay. That is after Portuguese were weakened by the Battle of Swali. Okay. Nagapattinam is an important Dutch port. Adatandi, they also had control in Malacca, Jakarta, and Amboina. Amboina ladan they defeat the English. All right. Fine. Yeah, like I said, They invaded Malabar and dislodged the Portuguese. Portuguese ஏற்கனவே வீக்கா இருந்தாங்க பேட்டில் ஆஃப் ஸ்வாலிக்கு அப்புறம். Okay, their headquarters was Nagapattinam, but there was stiff opposition from both the Portuguese as well as the English. By 1781, complete defeat. Okay, the real defeat starts with Battle of Bidara. By 1781, they are completely out of India. The Dutch have no role to play in India, whereas the French and the Portuguese stay on. Portuguese were defeated when? Finally. They were the last to leave India. Do you remember I told you? When did the Portuguese leave India? They came in 1498. They left India in 1961. Okay. They were evacuated or they were evicted from Goa. Okay. Fine. So that is about the Dutch in India. Now we come towards the English in India. Okay. So now the English had this policy of wars and treaties. Okay. So we'll see this later on as well, specifically relating to the Indian freedom movement, how they dealt with the moderates and the Indian leaders. They follow a policy of what you call carrots and sticks. Carrot na, you throw a carrot at the rabbit, and then once it is happy, you beat it down with a stick. So initially there would be a war, and then there would be a treaty. There would be a war, and then there would be a treaty. Right? So this is the way the English proceeded to colonize India. Okay, it was a continuous process of wars and treaties. Okay, now let us see how they proceeded in India. Just give me a moment, I shall drink some water. So I marked some important dates on the slide. So 1600s la Charter of Queen Elizabeth, which it is also called the Royal Charter. And it was for 15 years. Okay, John Milton Hellingravan. Okay, comes and he has the right, he gets the right to carry on trade east of the Cape of Good Hope. Cape of Good Hope enga paatha, Africa la paathama under the Portuguese. So east of the Cape of Good Hope na, from Africa all the way to Japan. Right? Nadula enala countries irukku? India irukku, China irukku, Indonesia irukku, all these countries. Okay. So British first India ku varumbodhu direct the English didn't rule India. First வந்தது வந்து English East India Company or the British East India Company. Okay, they had a governor and they were actually a company of merchants. இன்னைக்கு இருக்கிற மாடர்ன் கார்ப்பரேஷன் மாதிரி தான், மாடர்ன் கார்ப்பரேட்ஸ் அப்படின்னு சொல்லி சொல்றோம்ல. So this is the first major corporate in the world. Okay, so it was a great British invention. And what is a great British invention? The joint stock company. Okay, a company of merchants who are answerable to their shareholders. All right, fine. In 1608, William Hawkins, right? Appo vandu who is the Badshah? Jahangir, Mughal emperor. Okay, and he gives them permission to set up a factory at Surat. So two important places where all the foreign powers set factories. What did I say? Surat and which was the other one? Do you guys remember? Surat and அடுத்ததே எழுதி வச்சிருக்கேன் பாருங்க. Surat and the other more important one is Masulipatinam, not Cochin illappa, because the English don't actually capture Cochin. Okay, it is Surat and Masulipatinam. Everybody sets up factories there. Okay, now why did he give appadin ketamna? That is because the English impressed the emperor by defeating the Portuguese. Okay, in a minor battle in Gujarat, sea battle. Okay, so he the English impressed the Portuguese. Yan ketamna, even when the Indian traders and merchants had to trade with the Arab traders, that is with the Middle East, they had to pay taxes to this what do you call the Portuguese. Okay, அடுத்தது in 1612 the English fleet, this is what I'm talking about. English fleet defeated the Portuguese led by Captain Best at Battle of Swali, the famous Battle of Swali. Okay, after Battle of Swali, what happens is that the Portuguese become restricted to Dayu, Daman and Goa. Okay, inga two important terms are important associated with the Portuguese: Carthez and Feitoras. Carthez ingradhu enna? The taxing system I told you about. Sea trade la போறவங்க எல்லாம் வந்து போர்ச்சுகீஸ் கிட்ட டாக்ஸ் கட்டணும். ஃபெய்தோராஸ்ங்கிறது என்ன? Fortifications. Fortification plus warships. It was almost like a piracy system. That's Feitoras. So you have Carthez and Feitoras. Okay, associated with the Portuguese. Fine. Now both of these the Carthez system and Feitoras system is disbanded, right? Because the English defeated them. Yeah. So that is why the Mughal emperors often gave a lot of concessions to the English, because the English helped them counter the other European powers. Okay. At the 1632 the English get the right to trade from Golconda. Okay. See, Cartez is not blue water policy. Blue water policy is a general thing. It is a general strategic sort of a thing. Okay. Blue water policy it is to capture all the major ports and the choke points. Carthez is the tax system. Its scope is much narrower. Carthez is the taxing system. Blue water policy is an entire policy of capturing the major choke points in the world. Okay, fine. So this is a question that was asked, so I'm just answering it. Fine. So after this, the prestige of the English went up, and they finally got the royal firman to establish the factory at Surat. Okay. They got it from who? From Jahangir. Okay. So you can look at the English over a period of 100 years, how they progressed அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து. Area of British, area under British rule is the yellow part. Area not under the British rule is the red part. Okay. 100 yearsல எவ்வளோ அந்த yellow எப்படி increase ஆகுது பாருங்க. First Bengal, bits of Andhra Pradesh and the bits of Kerala and Kerala, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu இருந்து, see how much they're expanding. Right? So ஒரு 100 yearsல 1600sல இப்படி இருந்தாங்க. By the time that is around the 1700s, especially after, I would say 1765, right? After 1765, 1800s போட்டுக்கோங்க, right? They managed to capture so much இது வந்து 1700s இந்த மேப், இது வந்து 1800s மேல இருக்கிற மேப். ஓகே. So yeah, royal farman means nothing, just permission. Farman na grant mari. It is a grant. Royal na, why? It is coming from the emperor. Avladhan. Okay. That is the right to trade. They get the right to trade and establish a factory. That is what is called a farman. Okay. Fine. Okay. So here is an important map which gives you a comparative perspective of the Dutch settlements, French settlements and the British settlements. Okay. You can look at this when you are free. So let us look at some Portuguese settlements first. Dayu, Daman, Bassein, Goa, Cannanore, Calicut. Cannanore is nothing but Kannur. Today's Kannur is only Cannanore. Okay. And then Cochin. Appo Cochin is occupied by the other power. Which is the other power that occupied Cochin? Majorly it is the Dutch. அப்போ கொச்சினுக்கு வந்து போர்ச்சுகீஸ் அண்ட் ஐ மீன் த இங்கிலீஷ் அண்ட் த பிரெஞ்சு வந்து போல, இங்க இல்ல பாருங்க மேப்ல. ஓகே. So these are the important Portuguese territories in India. Okay. The other one being French தான். அது போர்ச்சுகீஸ் வந்து ஈஸ்ட் கோஸ்ட்ல வந்து சுத்தமா இல்ல பெருசா. ஓகே. Apart from Hooghly. Hooghly is one thing, is the only area in the east coast that the Portuguese had. Okay. And of course there is Nagapattinam and Sri Lanka la சிலது இருக்கு, பட் அது தவிர எதுவும் இல்ல. அப்ப பாண்டிச்சேரி, யானம் இதெல்லாம் வந்து பிரெஞ்சு தான். ஓகே. The Portuguese were not there. British and French settlements பாத்தீங்கன்னா ஆல்மோஸ்ட் சேமா இருக்கும். ரெண்டு பேருமே ரெண்டு அந்த சேம் டெரிட்டரி ஆக்கிபை பண்ணியிருப்பாங்க. ஓகே. டச் அண்ட் போர்ச்சுகீஸ்க்கு நடுவில் நிறைய காமனாலிட்டிஸ் இருக்கும். ஓகே. ஸோ நீங்க ஃப்ரீயா இருக்கும்போது இந்த மேப்பை வந்து உங்க இதுல பாருங்க. ஓகே. பிபிடி வில் பி சென்டிங் தி பிபிடி, அதுல பாருங்க. ஓகே. ஃபைன். ஸோ வி வில் மூவ் ஆன் டு த நெக்ஸ்ட். இன் 1615, ஓகே, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் எடுத்தோடனே ஹூ இஸ் கம்மிங் டு இந்தியா? பிரிட்டிஷ் பீப்புள்ல ஃபர்ஸ்ட் எடுத்தோடனே ஜான் மில்டன் ஹெல், பட் ஹீ டைரக்ட்லி டசன்ட் கம். அதுக்கப்புறம் ஹூ கம்ஸ்? கேப்டன் வில்லியம் ஹாக்கின்ஸ். அவர் எப்போ வராரு? 1608ல. 1615ல தாமஸ் ரோ வராரு. அண்டர் ஜேம்ஸ் ஒன் கேம் அகேன். 1608ல they get the what? Royal Farman to establish factory at Surat. Okay. 1615ல the Farman is upgraded with more favorable terms. That is, நீங்க கம்மியா டாக்ஸ் கட்டினா போதும், சரியா? நீங்க டாக்ஸ் கட்டாமையே ட்ரேட் பண்ணிக்கலாம். Those kind of things. Okay. And then what were the other upgrades made? Factories were established at Ahmedabad, Broach and Agra. This point is not that important. I'm just telling you. So what were these factories? Basically, right? So the factories were these sites for free trade as well as spreading religion, because a lot of the traders who came were Christian missionaries also. Okay. And they also made laws locally. Okay. These factories ங்கிறது வந்து it was just a name. Okay. வெறும் warehouse மாதிரி தான் இருக்கும், but slowly these factories were used also as means to spread religion and to make laws. Okay. In 1639 they got Madras, which is current Fort St. George in சொல்றது வந்து the Madras. Okay. And slowவா பார்த்தோம்னா religion laws தாண்டி they'll start militarily fortifying it also. Military fortification மெதுவா பண்ண ஆரம்பிப்பாங்க. Okay. 1651 la they get the right to trade after paying duty. Okay, right to trade after paying a certain duty. This is not in Bengal, this is in Madras. பெங்கால்ல ராயல் ஃபர்மான்லயே கிடைச்சிருச்சு. ஓகே, இது வந்து மெட்ராஸ்ல. 1668 la Bombay is given as dowry from the Portuguese. Okay, Catherine is the name of the princess, Portuguese princess, and King Charles II is the king. Seriya? So this is a major move. See, now they get Madras in 1630s, 30 years later they get Bombay. Okay, இனிஷியலா வெறும் பெங்கால்ல இருந்தவங்க ஃபர்ஸ்ட் எடுத்தோன்னே வெறும் சூரத் மட்டும்தான். பட் குஜராத் இஸ் நாட் தட் இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் ஆஃப் அ சைட் இன் இந்தியா. அதுக்கப்புறம் மெதுவா தே மூவ் டு பெங்கால், அதுக்கப்புறம் தே மூவ் டு மட்ராஸ், and then they move to Bombay. They don't move to Bombay, they get it as a dowry. Seriya? So it's not like dowry is there only in Indians and anything like that. Even the Europeans practice dowry. Okay. We even continue to practice modern dowry, right, in the form of gifts and all of that. We just don't call it that, but it seems to be there, going on even in today's world. Okay, 1698 la they get Fort Saint William. They build it at Calcutta. Okay, and they get this from the Nawab Ibrahim Khan of Bengal. Nawab Ibrahim Khan. ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோங்க. These forts are important, அதனால தான் I'm mentioning. Fort St. Georgeங்கிறது பாம்பேல இருக்கு, Fort St. Williamங்கிறது வந்து கல்கட்டால இருக்கு. Okay, fine. Okay, so we are moving to the next slide. So basis for the company policy was laid down by Thomas Roe. So Thomas Roe தான் ஏன்னா அவருக்கு தான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ராயல் ஃபர்மான் கிடைக்குது. of course he makes the basic policy initially. Okay, dovish policy அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க இனிஷியலா. டவ்விஷ்னா என்ன? டவ் மாதிரி. டவ்ங்கிறது என்ன? ஒரு பீஸ் பேர்ட் இல்லையா? அப்படின்னா வாட் இஸ் த ஆப்போசிட் ஆஃப் டவ்விஷ் பாலிசி? ஹாக்கிஷ் பாலிசி அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. ஹாக்கிஷ் பாலிசினா ஹாக் மாதிரி, தட் இஸ் மோர் அக்ரெசிவ், மிலிட்டரி டிபெண்ட் பண்ணி. டவ்விஷ் பாலிசினா என்ன? ரெஸ்ட்ரிக்ட் இட் செல்ஃப் டு ட்ரேட். நாங்க பாட்டுக்கு ட்ரேட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம். ஓகே, போர்ச்சுகீஸ் மாதிரி லோக்கல் கஸ்டம்ஸ்லயும் கன்வர்ஷன்ஸ்லயும் இன்வால்வ் ஆகி லோக்கல் ரெசிஸ்டன்ஸ் ஃபேஸ் பண்ணக்கூடாதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு. ஓகே, so they learned from the mistakes of the Portuguese that if they want to stay in India and control India for long enough, they cannot have a aggressive policy அப்படிங்கறத வந்து. ஓகே, ஃபைன். அடுத்தது 1691 ல அவுரங்கசீப் grants another royal firman. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் யாரு கொடுப்பாங்க? ஜஹாங்கீர். ஜஹாங்கீரோட சன் ஷாஜஹான், ஷாஜஹானோட சன் அவுரங்கசீப். சோ அவுரங்கசீப் வந்து gives the royal firman. So இங்க என்ன ஆகுதுன்னா, you see in the previous slide, in 1651 they get the right to trade after paying duty. But in 1691 with Aurangzeb's firman, no need to pay custom duty. ஏன் கேட்டோம்னா Aurangzeb had issues with the Nawab of Bengal at that time. அதனால இங்கிலீஷ் வந்து நேரா Aurangzeb அப்ரோச் பண்ணவுடனே சரி அவன் கூட எனக்கு பிரச்சனை, எனக்கு பெங்கால் பத்தி அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு he said no need to pay customs duty. Okay, after 1707 the further road to expansion. Okay, 1707 ல ராயல் ஆர்டர் ஆர் ஃபர்மான் அப்படின்னு ஒன்னு கொடுக்குறாங்க. this is given by Farooq Sayer. Okay, this royal order or firman, but this one is not that important, it will confuse you, so forget this point. You just remember royal firman is first given by Jahangir, it is upgraded by Aurangzeb who also gives a royal firman, and 1717 la Farooq Sayer kudukuradhu per golden firman. Royal firman illa, idu golden firman. So மூணு emperors நீங்க ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கணும். அப்படிடானா ஜஹாங்கீர், அவுரங்கசீப் and Farooq Sayer. இதுல மேஜர்லி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் வந்து தாமஸ் ரோக்கு யார் கொடுத்தா? ஜஹாங்கீர். ஓகே, அதுக்கப்புறம் நம்ம ஃபரூக் சையர் யாருக்கு கொடுத்தாங்க? வில்லியம் ஹாமில்டன். ஓகே, வில்லியம் ஹாமில்டனுக்கு ஏன் கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா, he is a surgeon, he actually ends up solving some issue that Farooq Sayer had. Okay, so what did this golden farman entail, or what did it encompass or include? Duty free trade up to rupees 3000 per year. Rupees 3000 வரைக்கும் duty free trade. Okay, this was also called as a dastak. Right to trade is also called a dastak. Okay, what else did he let them do? Right to coin their own money and collect tax. Okay, this is important. அதனால that's called golden farman. இது வந்து ராயல் ஃபர்மான்ல இதெல்லாம் வரல, அது டியூட்டி இல்லாம ட்ரேடுக்கு மட்டும்தான். இங்க பாருங்க, ரைட் டு காயின் மணி, கலெக்ட் டாக்ஸ், எங்கேஜ் லோக்கல் மிலிஷியா டு டிஃபெண்ட் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட்ஸ். லோக்கல் மிலிஷியானா யாரு? கான்ட்ராக்ட் கில்லர்ஸ் ஆர் பீப்புள் லைக் தட். அவங்கள வந்து நீங்க ஹையர் பண்ணிக்கலாம் உங்களோட இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட்டை டிஃபெண்ட் பண்றதுக்கு. ஓகே, இந்த கோல்டன் ஃபர்மானுக்கு அப்புறம் இட் இஸ் நோ லாங்கர் ஜஸ்ட் அ மர்ச்சன்ட் கம்பெனி. It becomes a powerful entity which can collect tax, print, coin its own money, and also hire local militia. All right, fine. So now we see how initially the English came in as only traders. Slowly, what happened? Now, if they are coming in as traders, what are they doing? Through their corruption and extreme greed, they start destroying the local economy. Especially because of their tax powers, they tax all the people, take all the money from them and then keep it for themselves. அப்போ என்ன ஆகும்? The emperor and nawabக்கு வந்து tax collection கம்மியாகும். அப்ப என்ன ஆகும்? டாக்ஸ் கலெக்ஷன் கம்மியாச்சுன்னா லா அண்ட் ஆர்டர் டிட்டோரியேட் ஆகும். ஏன்னா அதை மெயின்டைன் பண்ண முடியாது. ஓகேவா? இப்போ லா அண்ட் ஆர்டர் டிட்டோரியேட் ஆகுதுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு தே எஸ்டாப்ளிஷ் தேர் ஓன் மிலிட்டரி. we need to defend our interests, ஏன்னா லா அண்ட் ஆர்டர் சொல்லி சரியில்லை அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு அப்புறம் அதே யூஸ் பண்ணி யூ ஆக்கிபை இந்தியா. ஓகே, இன்னொரு டைலமா தட் தி இங்கிலீஷ் ஃபேஸ்ட். Trade in வரும்போது everything for them to buy is from India. They have nothing to offer to India. Okay, for instance, Indian textiles and Indian cotton and all that became so popular among the British women and all of that. England la. Okay, so now how to make up for the loss? You are bringing in all the money and spending it here, you are leaving it in India. But now how do you make up for the loss? Right, you take up the military power, you tax people, you threaten people, and you take back the gold and silver which you used to buy from them. That is the idea. That is how they did it. இதை தான் நம்ம drain of wealth அப்படின்னு சொல்லி சொல்லுவோம். It was the critique of the British economic policy and method, systematic method of impoverishing India. Okay, so இந்த ட்ரெயின் ஆஃப் வெல்த் காயின் பண்ணது வந்து தாதாபாய் நவ்ரோஜி. இதை வந்து நம்ம லேட்டரா இன்னும் டீட்டெயில்ல பார்ப்போம். பட் அதை டீட்டெயில்டா பார்க்கறதுக்கு முன்னாடி நான் உங்களுக்கு பேசிக்கா அக்வைண்ட் பண்ணி உங்களுக்கு ஃபெமிலியரைஸ் பண்ணிட்டேன்னா அப்புறம் படிக்கிறதுக்கு ரொம்ப ஈஸியா இருக்கும். ஓகேவா? ஃபைன், ரைட். So this is how the English took over India in a slow and systematic way. Next we move on to the French. Okay, so the French in India. இப்போ இங்க ஒரு இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் டிஃபரன்ஸ் நோட்டீஸ் பண்ணுங்க. இங்கிலீஷ் ஈஸ்ட் இந்தியா கம்பெனி இந்தியால எஸ்டாப்ளிஷ் பண்ணும்போது was it a government entity? Was it a government entity? The English East India Company. What did I tell you? No, I told you it was a company of traders, private traders. It was a joint stock company like the modern corporation. Yes, good. Some of you are paying attention. That's good. Whereas French வரும்போது French government ஓட behalfsல தான் வருவாங்க. That is public company மாதிரி. பப்ளிக் கம்பெனினா என்ன? நம்ம ஸ்டேட் பேங்க் ஆஃப் இந்தியா மாதிரி. பிரைவேட் கம்பெனினா என்ன? ஹெச்எஸ்பிசி மாதிரி. பிரைவேட் பேங்க்னா ஹெச்எஸ்பிசி, ஹெச்டிஎஃப்சி எல்லாம் இருக்காங்களா அந்த மாதிரி. ஓகே, so remember it that way. This was a government company. It was a company, but it was a government company. That was a private company. Okay, fine. It was established by the minister called Colbert. Okay, ரெண்டு கம்பெனியா எஸ்டாப்ளிஷ் பண்றாரு, வெஸ்ட் இந்தியா கம்பெனி, ஈஸ்ட் இந்தியா கம்பெனி அப்படின்ட்டு. தட் இஸ் பிரெஞ்ச் வெஸ்ட் இந்தியா கம்பெனி அண்ட் பிரெஞ்ச் ஈஸ்ட் இந்தியா கம்பெனி, ரெண்டு கம்பெனியா. ஓகே, see next point பாருங்க, it is important. Not a free trading company, it is more like a government department. That is one of the reasons why the French are defeated in India. Okay, ஏன்னு கேட்டிங்கன்னா the private fellows will invest more and they're more greedy about maintaining their power and everything like that compared to the government. Government ஒரு பாயிண்ட் மேல வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா becomes lazy. Right, because it is not about your private greed anymore. Right, so அதை நம்ம பார்ப்போம். 1667 they established a factory at Surat. Again, like I said, Surat and Masulipatam are important. Okay, they get the farman from Aurangzeb. English get it from who? Jahangir. Later on from Aurangzeb. First வாங்கினது யார் கிட்ட இருந்து? ஜஹாங்கீர் கிட்ட இருந்து. French first வாங்கினது யார் கிட்ட இருந்து? Aurangzeb கிட்ட இருந்து 1667. Okay, fine. Then they established at Masulipatam few years later. Wine போட்டது எதுக்குன்னா சூரத் அண்ட் மசூலிப்பட்டினம் are important அப்படின்னு இண்டிகேட் பண்றதுக்கு தான். ஓகே, 1674 they get Pondicherry from who? Sultan of Bijapur. Okay, Pondicherry from who? The Sultan of Bijapur. This is important. Okay, in 1673 they get Chandranagore and set up factory later in 1690. Okay, this is not important. In 1673 they get Chandranagore. Okay, these two dates are important, right? So this is another map of the European trading centers. We already saw it. I've just repeated it here because this had more focus on the French. So French oda territories major ah pandu pathina, it is Yanam, Pondicherry, Karaikal, Mahe, இந்த நாலு. ஓகே, புதுச்சேரின்னு கூப்பிடுறது வந்து பிரிட்டிஷ் ஹிஸ்டரியில when we read the word Pondicherry, it refers to all these four territories. Okay, பாண்டிச்சேரின்னு சொல்லும் போது it includes நாலு territory: யானம், மாஹே, காரைக்கால் and Pondicherry. Okay, fine. The Karaikal is in Tamil Nadu, Pondicherry is in Tamil Nadu, Mahe is in Kerala, Yanam is in Andhra Pradesh. So it is spread across 3 states. Remember. Okay, இன்னைக்கு நம்ம மாடர்ன் பாண்டிச்சேரின்னு சொல்றது தமிழ்நாட்டில் இருக்கிற ஒரு டெரிட்டரி தான். பட் ஜெனரலா அண்டர் பிரிட்டிஷ் ஹிஸ்டரி or colonial history, when we say Pondicherry, it relates to all these 4 territories. Okay, fine. We'll move on. The other one is being Chandranagore. We just saw it. Okay, these are the important areas, right? Fine, we'll move on. And then they of course had factories at Kasim Bazar, Balasore. These are all not important. 1741 is an important turning point. It is a milestone in the company because Dupleix becomes promoted as the governor of Pondicherry. He's a very able general. Okay. He had a very aggressive policy of interference in the Indian states. So, ஈஸ்ட் இந்தியா கம்பெனி ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோங்க, இனிஷியலா வந்து இன்டர்ஃபியரன்ஸ் கிடையாது தாமஸ் ரோ. அதுக்கப்புறம் மெதுவா they start interfering. Okay, but when they start interfering, they end up inevitably clashing with the East India Company, and therefore they fight 3 wars between them called the Anglo-French Wars, which are also called as the Carnatic Wars. Okay, we'll look at those in detail. Now, before we do that, let us try to solve some questions about the foreign powers in India. Let us see how much you guys are able to solve. Okay. Yeah. Can you guys see the question and answers? In the comment box, what you can do is you can put question number 1 and write the option. Okay. The first question: who laid the foundation of Portuguese power in India? Second question: Goa was captured by the Portuguese in. Okay. One is C. Vasco da Gama is just a traveler, pa. He didn't lay foundation for power. He only got permission from the Zamorin. Okay. இங்க ஆப்ஷன்ல வந்து luckily you didn't have Almeida. இப்ப அல்மைதா and Albuquerque அப்படின்னு கேட்டு ஃபவுண்டேஷன் அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருந்தா அல்மைதா தான் ஆன்சர். ஓகே, இதுவே who consolidated Portuguese power in India ன்னு கேட்டிருந்தா ஆன்சர் வந்து Albuquerque. பட் இங்க வந்து உங்களுக்கு அல்மைதாங்கிற ஆப்ஷன் இல்ல. சோ Albuquerque is the answer. Alphonse de Albuquerque. Okay. 2 வந்து is B. 1510. Somebody has marked D into arrow எழுதிருக்கீங்க. It's not 1610. 1610 they were defeated இல்லையா? 2 is B. 1510 AD. Go back and look at the slides. Okay. Next. See, answers are C and B. I have marked it. Okay. Fine. Leave question 3. We'll do that after we finish the Marathas. Look at question 4. Now, in the red color போட்டிருக்கிற questions they are going to look at now. For now, okay. In Bengal, the headquarters of East India Company was located at. We went through some forts. Question number 4. Yeah, Fort St. William. Okay. Fort St. George is in Madras. Fort St. William is in Calcutta. They fortified it, remember? Seriya? Fine. Next question for answer is Fort St. William. Okay. Next question. Yeah. Look at question number 8, which is in red again. The land of Bombay was given to the English Prince Charles Darwin as dowry by the. Who gave it as dowry? Yeah, good. Portuguese. Okay. In fact, the Portuguese practiced a lot of the evils that India is accused of. They practiced dowry. They had something called caste. In fact, the word caste is actually a Portuguese word. In India, in Indian languages, the word caste doesn't exist. The word caste comes from the Portuguese word casta, because they would only marry with superior bloodlines. Okay. Fine. So 8 is B. Good. Okay, I have marked the answer. Next. Yeah, this one I didn't mention in class, but let's see if you guys can guess properly. When the East India Company came into existence, England was ruled by the Hanoverians, Stuarts, Tudors, and Normans. Answer is C. Good. It is Normans. Because the Anglo-Saxon Empire, அப்படின்னு சொன்னா it refers to the Normans தான். Okay? Good. Next. Look at question number 10. The Indian textiles which were used by the Dutch in African slave trade were A. Plain white textiles, plain dyed textiles, chintz and embroidered textiles, silk piece goods. Definitely not C. It's definitely not D. It's between A and B. Chintz and embroidered textiles எல்லாம் இல்ல. இந்தியாவோட plain white textile தான் வந்து ரொம்ப ஃபேமஸ் ஆச்சு. Okay. The answer over here is plain white தான். Dyeing happens only after the English come in, not when the Dutch were there. Okay. So answer is plain white textiles. Okay. Dyeing வந்து happens only after the English come. அதுதான் வந்து was the trick here. Next. Question 14 பாருங்க. The main English exports from Bengal were What were the main English exports from Bengal? No, not saltpeter. Okay. The major one was silk and cotton goods. Okay. Not indigo. See, indigo comes much later. Okay. Initially, it was only silk and cotton goods. Okay. Next. The state which granted the golden firman to the Dutch to trade freely on payment of mere 500 pagodas a year as duty was. Who granted the golden firman to the Dutch? Question 17 பாருங்க. நான் அந்த ஸ்லைட்ஸ் போட நீங்க good. No, what? Not Jinji. Answers B. Golconda. I don't think you even heard the word Jinji so far in the lecture. I don't know why some of you are saying that. Okay. Answers Golconda. See, Farooq Sayer granted golden firman to the English pa, not Dutch. Watch the question. Golden firman to the Dutch கொடுத்தது வந்து Golconda தான். Okay. Fine. Question 19 பாருங்க. Who among the following Europeans were the last to come to pre-independence India as traders? கடைசில யார் வந்தா? அப்பாடா, French. Good. Okay. அடுத்தது question 20. இது நான் லெக்சர்ல போடல. But the French got the site of Pondicherry from who? பிரெஞ்சுக்கு வந்து பாண்டிச்சேரி யார்கிட்ட இருந்து கிடைச்சது? Okay. It is not Bijapur and all. இது நான் லெக்சர்ல போடல. So mark this fact up. Shaista Khan, the Mughal viceroy in the Deccan. Okay. He got it from Shaista Khan. ஓகே, பிஜாப்பூருக்கும் பாண்டிச்சேரிக்கும் சம்பந்தமே இல்லையப்பா. பிஜாப்பூர் மேல நார்த்ல இருக்கு, டுவர்ட்ஸ் கர்நாடகா அந்த பக்கம் இருக்கு. அவன் எப்படி பாண்டிச்சேரி கொடுப்பான்? ஓகே, பட் யா, this is a, I didn't mention it in the lecture, so this is a tough one only. Okay, look at the next one. The French East India Company, forget this. The French East India Company was founded in India by? This is easy question. Good, Colbert. Okay, he was a minister. Okay, look at 24 next. 24, what's the answer? Good, Surat. Who got the permission? What is the name of the fellow? Who got the permission and who gave the permission? Do you guys remember that? Which emperor gave the permission? Jahangir and Thomas Roe. Good. Okay. Fine. Look at 26. With the decline in Portuguese power, a number of its settlements were lost. Who captured the Strait of Hormuz or the Persian Gulf from the Portuguese in 1622? Who captured power from the Portuguese? Strait of Hormuz la. Okay, this is a trick question. I knew most of you would say English, but the answer is Dutch. Okay, the answer is Dutch. Okay, fine. Look at 27. Which one of the following was not one of the settlements established by Portuguese in India? எங்க போர்ச்சுகீஸ் செட்டில்மெண்ட் இந்தியால இல்ல? Good. Answer is Madras. Salsette and Bassein were given no to the Portuguese, right? And then they were also there in Masulipatinam. Madras la வந்து இல்ல. Okay, fine, that's good. Next, look at 29. Where did the English open the first factory in the south in 1611? சவுத்ல ஃபர்ஸ்ட் எங்க ஃபேக்டரி எஸ்டாப்ளிஷ் பண்ணாங்க? மெட்ராஸ், மசுலிப்பட்டினம், ஆர்மகாவம், விசாகப்பட்டினம். ஆன்சர் இஸ் மசுலிப்பட்டினம். ஓகே, அடுத்தது பாருங்க. The English first obtained the lease of Madras in 1639 from ruler of? மெட்ராஸ் லீஸுக்கு வாங்குறாங்க from the ruler of who? Good. Answer is Chandragiri. Okay, a lot of you are getting it correct. Yeah, look at the next question. From which of the following Deccan sultanates did Albuquerque capture Goa? Yeah, good. Answer is D, Golconda. Wait, answer is, this is not D. You guys are confusing me. Answer is Bijapur, no? It's not Golconda, right? We'll just go back and quickly take a look. Europeans. See, Sultan of Bijapur, I have underlined. It's not Golconda, man. Don't get confused. A lot of you said D. It's Bijapur. Very few of you have said C. Okay? Because Bijapur is only there no near Goa. Golconda வந்து இன்னும் இந்த பக்கம் இருக்கு. சரியா? So don't get confused. Okay. So let us see if we have any more questions. Yeah, here. Next one. We'll go to 35. India came with the purview of the Dutch as a link in their great commercial chain. Which of the following was not one of the places in India where the Dutch established their trading station? Dutch வந்து எங்க ட்ரேடிங் ஸ்டேஷன் எஸ்டாப்ளிஷ் பண்ணலன்னு கேக்குறாங்க. ஓகே, இது வந்து நீங்க அந்த மேப் பாத்தீங்கன்னா இன்னும் கிளியர் ஆகும். பட் யூ கேன் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் கெஸ். Okay, answer over here is Pulicat. Masulipatinam, yes. Calicut, yes. Because I told you they always are clashing with the Portuguese. So answer is Pulicat. Okay. Fine. So this should do for now. Let us take a 15 to 20 minute, 15-minute break, and then we'll start again with the Carnatic wars. Okay, and then if we have time, we'll also move towards the wars between various Indian states. All right. So we'll take a 15-minute break now. I'm quite happy with some of the answers that you guys are giving me, but some obvious answers you should not make mistakes. Okay, some questions were difficult, but the easy answers you should not make mistakes, like Bijapur for instance. Okay, that is somewhere where you should not be making a mistake. Fine. So yeah, we shall meet back in about 15 minutes. All right, thank you.